What
What
up,
up,
nation?
nation?
Welcome to the Friday edition of the NBA Wise stream. I'm your host, Paulie D, joined by the man, the GOAT, under the weather, Stevie Brown. What's going down, Stevie Brown?
Like you said, been under the weather a little bit, but it's the fucking weekend, so trying to man up and get over it a little bit. Excited for this 9-game slate tonight. It's actually kind of fun one because there's a lot of decent value or so, and I have a really small player pool right now, so I'm interested what you can sell me on here to help me expand my player pool a little bit.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I mean, it's big slate, but there's not like a ton that I'm in love with either. I mean, there's some obvious shit I think that is going to be extremely chalky that I think you just got to kind of suck it up and play. Couple spots I like for game stacks, but we'll certainly break it down. Elf's been ruled out for the Knicks. Dame Lillard's out, making CJ McCollum, an optimal chalk play today. Let's see. What else are we waiting on? TJ Warren, questionable. DeAndre Ayton, we're waiting on his status. Couple other Suns, too. Aaron Baines, Dario Saric. We know Kemba is out for the Celtics. We know Karl Anthony Towns is going to be out for the Timberwolves. Will Barton, questionable for the Denver Nuggets. Mike Conley's going to be out for the Jazz. I wouldn't be shocked if somebody got ruled out, like Joe Val for the Grizzlies, but we'll see. They are playing the Lakers. And then that's really it in terms of the injuries. So even though it's that big, there's not a ton we're waiting on that'll be impactful. We'll see if anything drops that kind of changes the slate a little bit as we go on. Before we get into like the tiers, what are some games that you're interested in on this slate today? What's some of your favorite games?
Kind of the obvious ones: Boston, Minnesota, Portland, Pelicans. Weirdly, kind of Toronto, Phoenix. I don't love it, but I have appeal from you guys on both ends. Like I like Ayton a lot. I like Ibaka, like Lowry. So that game's not too bad for me. I think that's really games I'm in love with. That's really it. I'd say like Cleveland, Washington has some appeal, but nothing that really is crazy that I'm in love with.
Yeah, so let's talk about Washington, and that's always a team we want to be aware of. Who they're playing. Not much defense expected, but these teams are healthy now and deep. So
very deep.
I agree. There's not anything that jumps out like, oh, I need to play that. It's, I wouldn't be shocked if one or two players from this game was a must have on the slate, but it's not as appealing as I think this game would normally be or would have been a few weeks ago when both teams were significantly more shorthanded. What are you doing with Elf being ruled out for the Knicks? Anything there that you're gravitating towards?
No, I have Nino Keely in my player pool, but of course, I don't love him either. I don't think you need to go to a min-price guy in this slate. There's plenty of value between that 4 and 5K range or so that has a ton of upside. So I'd much rather get 30s and so. Plus from Melo, James Johnson, Malik Beasley, Juancho Hernangomez, sorry, Anthony Simons, and those kind of guys, and taking 18 from Frank Ntilikina.
Yep. You didn't mention Dennis Smith Jr., who I'm seeing as a projected starter, high usage guy. What is he, 3,100? Any interest in him?
No. 3,300, absolutely no interest. We've seen in some of these games, even if it gets 27 minutes or so with Elf out, he still doesn't do great. Of course, he can come out and score 30 DKP and play a shit ton of minutes, but it's not my thing. They're kind of deep. They can go fucking 11, 12 man deep tonight. And I still don't think he gets over 25 minutes, and anything 25 minutes isn't even enough for me to want to really play him anyway. I think he plays a lot less than that.
All right. And Stevie does write the cash game article for us. It did smash yesterday. He's having a really good year with that. Just quick little props to you. And I guess
Thank you.
DSJ would be more of like a GPP play today than a cash play, although I think
Definitely.
he's going to end up being like around 25% owned by the time the slate starts. You know, at that cheap price tag of 3.3 is just like a lock for 6x and probably more. Let's talk about Portland and the Pelicans. You know, these teams have played quite a bit. The last game, I think, had like 270 total points or something along those lines. No Dame. Everybody on the Pelican side is healthy. That matters at least. Well, let's talk about Portland side. Like, what are you doing with no Dame? I mean, obviously, CJ McCollum's one of the best plays on the slate. But what else do you like from Portland, if anything?
Anthony Simon should step in, play a lot of minutes, like 30 minutes or so. At 3.5 is a big reason why I don't think you need to play like Ntilikina or Dennis Smith Jr. Super cheap, has a great upside, and is locked into some bigger minutes in one of the best matchups in basketball. So I love Simons, of course, for value. Same with Melo. A lot of shot opportunities open up. You always should play bigger minutes in competitive games, and he's super cheap in a great matchup. So like, it's like you said, Simons, McCollum, and Melo for me, and then like big step below them, Sam Whiteside. DK is super expensive. Whiteside, FanDuel is a little cheaper. Of course, he does have like 55-point upside any night, but he's still expensive now, and like I don't think Dame being out changes much for him. So I much rather be underweight. What's crazy is though, like I would want to go the opposite side of the field tonight. If he was gonna be chalky, I would want to go underweight on him. If he was gonna be like still low owned, I would want to go overweight. But like he's sitting right there at like 10%, which is like fair. So like I think I can kind of just ignore him tonight. But again, I will have some of him because of the matchup.
What about Gary Trent?
Didn't really consider him much. Like he's fine at 4-4. Should play bigger minutes, but like I don't think. I mean, sure, maybe he does have that bigger upside. He did have a few games stint of like 29 to 30 fantasy points.
Mm-hmm.
He's fair too. I mean, he's definitely coming lower owned too, which is appealing. So happy brought him up. Gonna add him to my player pool now because for a cheap guy with some upside, I don't mind going to.
Yeah, like I think he's gonna actually get the start. I mean, we'll see. But I feel like when this has happened before, like he got the start, McCollum started at the 1, and they kept Anthony on the bench. I think Trent will get more minutes. And like you said, I mean, when he plays, he's done fairly well, right? And like Portland has a pretty tight rotation. Like if he's going to just kind of fill in for the McCollum role, McCollum become the Dame role. McCollum plays 35 to 40 minutes a game. So he's a guy that no one's really talking about that, you know, I think is like a really interesting tournament pivot off of Anthony. I think you could play all three of those guys in the same lineup potentially, but just, you know, wanted to bring him up because it seems like, you know, no one's talking about him. Everyone's just talking about Anthony Simons. He's actually had the better track record of late, at least. And then last game, let's touch on, well, anything you like from the Pelican side? I mean, they're finally fully healthy. You know, this game went off like games ago. Zion had a big game. Like, who do you like on the Pelican side?
Ingram's price tag on DK is way too cheap, but outside of him, I don't love anybody else. Drew's still sitting at like a fair price tag, so like maybe you want to consider playing some of him. But with the team healthy, I'm not really going overweight on like Lonzo, Zion, any of those guys. I forgot to mention from Portland. Again, like not a guy that I love, but he's in my player pool too. Like Trevor Ariza, of course. So just another one of those Portland guys that that's appealing. But from the Pelican side, it's really Ingram for me on DK. He's cheap, way too cheap. Big price differential between DK and FanDuel for him tonight, so I'll be playing him on DK a lot.
Yeah, like, you know, I'm definitely going to have exposure to this game, obviously more so the Portland side. I'm just very big on Zion. Is like averaging like 1.5 points per minute in his NBA career so far, and I think he's just getting more into shape every game. And this is just an absolute smash spot. Center's been murking Whiteside all year, but with Ingram there, like we don't know where the usage is going to go. It might just be like they all do all right, but no one's like gets up over like the 7 or 8x spot. I'm going to be working them in, but I kind of am on the same page as you. Ingram's got the probably the most appealing price tag, but I don't know. I don't know if I really love any of them. I don't know if any of them would crack my cash game lineup. If anyone, it'd be Ingram.
I think the biggest problem with like the Portland side, at least, is with so many appealing parts of Portland. Like I have only one Pelican, and I have 6 Portland guys. Obviously, they're missing Lillard, but like Trent, Whiteside, Ariza, Melo, McCollum, Simons. What kind of limits would you put? Like, you're gonna play like 4 max, 3 max in the lineup. You setting build rules to play like no Simons and Gary Trent together. What are you doing to kind of like limit? Say it again.
Probably that, like no Simons and Trent together. Although, say the game blows out, they could close together. And I don't know. Like, I wouldn't want a ton of them together, but I wouldn't hate a little bit of them together. But I think you could play up to 4 Trailblazers on a team. I would probably want, 1 or 2 Pelicans coming back if I had 4 Trailblazers. But it's not mandatory. Like, I think you definitely want some Portland. And the more Portland you have, maybe, the more you'd want some Pelicans with it.
I'm curious to hear what you're gonna say from some of these garbage games. Like, I mean, we talked about no elf, so like you pulled up like Dennis Smith Jr. and Joakim a little bit from the Knicks, but like Knicks, Pacers, Denver, OKC, Spurs, Utah. Anything that like you were in love with from those games? Of course, like Utah, you said no Conley, so that's a little bit different. But anybody you're like, yeah, I'm playing this guy from that team, or is it a little bit sprinkled from them?
Well, I do think the Utah San Antonio game is interesting. Like they played recently, it was very high scoring. Both these teams want to win. Both these teams have been playing fairly well. Spurs had like this long, terrible streak and seemed to have turned that around. DeJounte Murray's playing well again. I just expect that game to be close and like a little bit faster than expected. I don't mind playing some of the Knicks guards like Dennis Smith Jr. and J.R. Barrett, not J.R. Barrett, R.J. Barrett. That's probably it from that side, though. That's just not a game I want all that much of. I'm with you. Like, I like Phoenix, Toronto. I like Boston, Minnesota. I could kind of get behind some parts of OKC against Denver. The San Antonio, Utah, of like the less attractive games. I like the prices on just about everybody. Donovan Mitchell, when he gets started point guard, the assist ratios go up. His price tag's not too high. You could look at Joe Ingles, Bogdanovich, right?
Joe Ingles is the one guy I like most from that game. Like, I guess him and Donovan Mitchell. I'm not really playing. People are going to play Royce O'Neal too, just because he should play bigger minutes again. But I don't think he has any kind of upside.
What about Jordan Clarkson?
Him a player, like just because like he's been so explosive and showed a ton of upside. Like he's had like 4. Is it 4 like 45 plus point games since joining the Jazz, something like that? I think so. Of course, he can go for like 10 or 12 any night, but like if he's 5K, possibility bigger minutes with Noah Conley and can go for 45 in 25, 30 minutes, then fuck yeah, give me some.
Yep. And then like the Spurs are priced so well. LMA, DeMar DeRozan, DeJounte Murray's been balling. Derek White, Trey Lyles in a revenge spot. Like, I think this makes like a really nice game stack. Maybe the game finds overtime. Both teams we kind of know where the minutes are gonna go. Anything on San Antonio side that you like?
Yeah, you said like DeRozan and Aldridge are the biggest ones to stand out. I think that's really it. Like, I can't really guess the other guard situation between like Mills, Forbes, Stark White, Hunter Murray, Lonnie Walker gets in there. So really, LMA and Rosen.
All right, and then last game we'll touch on before we get into tiers. Boston versus the new look Minnesota Timberwolves without Cat, with essentially a completely new starting five. Have been playing very fast, very high scoring. Have actually looked a bit better with this new squad. What's your thoughts here? Boston going into Minnesota, both teams missing their star player.
I fucking love this game. Absolutely love this game, and I'll have a ton of it. Both sides: James Johnson, Beasley, Hernan Gomez from Minnesota, D'Angelo Russell, of course, Jaylen Brown, Tatum, Gordon Hayward. I think people are gonna play smart too, no Kemba, but I don't think he holds upside of 6K or so. If you want to take a shot on Canner, who if he can play like 20 minutes has upside at 3.7 because he's so cheap, but it's the big three really from Boston. That'll be all over. They have a team total just about 118 or so now, and Tatum and Love, like he'll never, especially at the price tag, the matchup, no Kemba, he can't kill your lineup. Like there's no way he does your lineup with like a 25. You always get like 40 or so here, and he has such a big like upside for like 50 plus here. So I like Tatum a lot.
I agree. The research screams to play Tatum out of Boston. I think other guys are instinct in Boston as well, but really like Tatum.
Who else besides Tatum, Brown, and Hayward do you like?
I like Tice. I think you got to get a few shares of Cantor just in case. And I'm cool with Marcus Smart as well.
You playing Wanamaker at all?
Minimal. Like, I just like the other value more than like I'd play DSJ, play Gary Trent, I'd play Anthony Simon. I don't think I end up on him all that much, but do like it. All right, so let's break this thing down into tiers. Using DK pricing, who do you like in the stud section? 8K and up.
8K and up. I actually have a lot of 8K guys that like my player pool. If you're such a small player pool, there's a few of them. Elo, of course. I love him. One guy who who I'm gonna have a ton of, and I haven't really even crunched my lineups, but I'll get to that at like 6:15 or so. Ayton, man, like when he plays in competitive games, he smashes every single game. Like even in some of these worst matchups, Detroit, Denver, OKC, like he's put up 61, 55, 57, 45, 49, 49. Like it's an 8-point spread here, but if the game somehow stays competitive, no Gasol, and like he can go off, like he's getting so overlooked. He's coming to 4% owned, and I think he has like big 50-point upside here. So I like Aiden for a really low-owned player. It's the center spot, and my big plan was if people are going to go to Whiteside without Lillard, then I'm going to go way over on Aiden and way under on Whiteside there.
Yeah, I mean Whiteside is not like he's been most of the year. Any concerns with Aiden? The fact that Baines practiced and will likely be there. Same thing with Saric.
I mean, he's still gonna play big minutes. Like what we've seen so far this season is they're not really taking a hit from Aiton's minutes for Baines. But we've seen them be able to share the court together too. So I think his minutes are pretty secure. Maybe he takes a little bit of a production hit, but it's not something I'm too concerned with.
Okay. So rank like your top three in this range.
From 9K plus
8K.
8K. D'Lo. Oh man. The problem is I can't. I'll be honest. I have such trouble pinning down these 9K plus guys. Like, between like Luka, LeBron, AD, Jokic, Beal, like it's so hard for me to pin them between like who's gonna have the good game between them. But I'll say D'Lo. Fuck. AD and Luka.
All right. Yeah, I mean, Luka 10-6, that's just insane. I'm definitely getting a piece of that. It probably won't even be that popular. Like D'Angelo Russell and probably Siakam for me, but I'm not in love with this tier. Outside of Luka and D'Angelo Russell, some shares of Rudy Gobert, I'm probably not going to have a ton of the studs today. Let's bump down to the mid tier, 5K to 8K.
This is like the amazing tier here where we're holding a ton of upside. And I don't think we're seeing a big stars and scrubs build, although we have like Simons and some decent value with like the Minnesota guys. But there's a ton of the guys in this range that have huge point per dollar upside. I mean, I can name off fucking every player here. My favorites, I'll say, Melo, Malik Beasley, CJ McCollum, Serge Ibaka, Gordon Hayward, and of course Tatum. I do like Jordan Clarkson a lot too, though.
Yep. What about Malik Beasley? What's your interest levels in him?
A lot, very high, very very high. More than the 14% owned he's coming in at.
Yeah, love the way he's been playing in Minnesota so far. You kind of rattled off a bunch of names there. Did you mention Donovan Mitchell at 6,900?
I didn't. I don't love him. Like I think he's getting way over projected than like he should be.
Okay.
Like Hayward's projected for 3 points under him right now, and the source I'm looking from, that's fucking wild to me. Like I much rather take a 7K Hayward at 8% owned than Donovan Mitchell at just about the same price tag at 20% owned. Like it shouldn't even be comparable for me.
Okay. Basically, the whole entire OKC team is in the mid tier here. Anybody stand out to you out of like Chris Paul, SGA, Danilo, Steven Adams, and Roder?
Chris Paul is fine, just because he has upside every game. But again, and he's been playing pretty well too. It's not something I love. SJ, same thing, but like his upside now, it feels like it's more like 35-point upside, especially given the matchup, how it's super tough, than like 45, 50-point upside. So in the game, it's mostly only Chris Paul for me. I didn't mention Steven Adams, but I also like Steven Adams a lot more too tonight. Schroeder also, for the guard situation, it would go Chris Paul, Schroeder, SGA, and I like Steven Adams above Sean Gilgeous-Alexander too. Not Sean.
All right. Yeah, I mean, how much McCollum you plan on playing?
Not more than the field.
And what's the field projected at right now? Like 60?
Yeah, 60%.
I mean, we have like one of the largest sample sizes in like DFS right now on McCollum with Dame off the floor. Over 1,000 minutes of sample dating back to just 3 years, right? And, he's got a 1.15 points per minute.
You said 1.15?
Yeah, 1.15. We could pretty confidently project him for 38 to 40 minutes at 6'6". It's almost like a 7x baseline projection on a guy that in a super pace up spot. I don't know. I think you could consider having 100% of him today. It'd be hard for me to be talked into getting under the field on McCollum.
It's just tough because there's a lot of guys in that range that like who have
I agree. You got Tatum, you got Jaylen Brown, a handful. But I mean,
DeRozan, Sexton's fine too.
Sure. But I mean, realistically, are you playing Colin Sexton over McCollum?
No, of course not. But it's 60% owned compared to 2% owned. Like I'll play a little bit Sexton. I'm not gonna go, but it is weird. Like when he's 60% owned, I'll either go like 40% or lock button him. Like I don't think it's worth going like 70% because like is the 10% you're getting over the field really do anything for you? No.
Yeah. I feel you on that. I know it's annoying when the chalk plays have just been so popular in the last 2 years. It's like it's so tilting. It's like really can't gain much of an edge unless you fade them and they bust. And it's like in
It's so
NBA,
stupid. The edge now is either like you either play him like because the guy's such a good spot. It's not like you can get over the field on him. You either play him with the field or like you try to fade just because the field's not, and it's like a stupid fade. Like it's not like a justified fade.
right.
You're only doing because the field's like so on him.
Right. You know, it's like, I mean, on a slate like this, where, like you said, there's a lot in the mid tier, I think it's all right because all you really need is like the guys you're on to outscore him by 1 point. You gained an edge. Like, you know, if you go say Jaylen Brown over him, like Brown outscores him, right? They're similar priced. Like, you've gained an edge, but you know, I think he's likely to go for 50 plus and be the highest scorer, or you know, in the top 3 where you're going to need him. So it's tough. That's why I said I think I'd be all right even going 100% with him. But let's talk about value, 5K and below. I think there's quite a lot to like down here, but I don't love the studs. So it's like, what do I need it for? You know, it's like what's Luka Doncic projecting at ownership wise?
I see for him only 17%.
17. Like, you know, he only had that one game right before the All-Star break, but he looked great. It is Orlando, so it's not a good pace situation. But, I mean, at 10-6, you need like a 55 where he could go for 75. You can easily get him. Like, I'll be overweight on Luka just because there's no one else that I think has a similar ceiling on this slate. But who do you like? Who do you like under 5K? What are some of your favorites?
It's kind of like what you said. I think there's a lot to like here, but not a lot to love. Anthony Simons, of course, pops out at 3.5 and no Dame. Should be locked in for at least 30 minutes, even if he doesn't get the start. And it's an amazing matchup. You can pencil in for a good like 20 to 25 fantasy points. It certainly is upside for more than that. He's also coming in like 50% owned, so that's a lot. Besides him, you got the Minnesota guys who have big upside too. No Cat, Juancho Hernangomez, James Johnson are definitely super appealing. And kind of like the next tier down from them comes for me at least like the Ariza and Gary Trent from Portland, Kevin Porter Jr. from Cleveland against Washington, and Joe Ingles. At the very, very bottom, there's Ntilikina, but I think I'm taking him right at the fuck my pool. I don't think he has like upside like the other guys do.
He really doesn't. You know, very rarely does he go for like 30 plus. He has been announced as the starter, but he's started plenty of games and done nothing. So I'm not him either. How would you rank the Minnesota value?
All right, let me go to hold on. Group by team. So I'll include Beasley in there too, because like Beasley, Hernangomez, and James Johnson are only like 800 apart from each other. I'm saying Beasley, James Johnson. Maybe. No, I'm gonna say James Johnson mostly too. Not even just because I think he's a better per like dollar play than Beasley, because he's probably not. But the power forward center eligibility is a lot better than the shooting guard eligibility today. So James Johnson, Beasley, and then Juancho.
Yeah, I'd probably go Beasley, Juancho, James Johnson, Naz Reid. But I'm all right. You know, they're all very close to me. I kind of Celtics bigs, Cantor, Theus, either of them, do you like? Do you plan to get any exposure to, or you're not really that into?
I'm not really into like Tice. I don't think he has a route to big upside, like, especially compared to those Minnesota guys. Cantor's route to upside is if like Tice gets hurt, get into foul trouble, and he's super cheap. So, like, I'd play Cantor over Tice just because like there is a route to upside for him when he's so cheap. Because we know if he does get like once into 25 minutes, he is huge upside. But like, while Tice can do you solid and get you like 25 to 30, like I don't think he has huge upside, and he's like fairly priced. Kenner's the guy who's like a grand cheaper, and like if he falls into bigger minutes, has big upside.
Agreed. How about the Washington big situation? Hachimura, Mo Wagner. Any interest in those guys?
I took a shot on Rui and Thomas Bryant a couple of, Rui and Mo Wagner a few slates ago and it worked out for me, but it's kind of a mess now. Like Mo Wagner, Bryant, Rui, Bertan's all there. It's something I want to kind of avoid now. Like we don't know what's gonna call him. I think of course given the matchup too, one of them can like get like 35 or so, but like I don't think it's worth gambling on those guys than putting my exposure into the Minnesota guys. Like, I'd rather go heavier on the Minnesota guys than them. But of course, with like a 122 team total at home and they're all like below 5K, like they do all have big upside.
All right. All right. So that'll do it for the tiers sector of the show. So let's talk about cash games, optimals. Where would you start your cash game build today?
Let's see. I'm not even playing cash today, but the givens. I'm starting with 3 Portland guys. I'm going Simons, McCollum, and Mello. Any debate there?
I mean, definitely Simons and McCollum and cash. I hate to say Mello, but I'll let it slide for now.
All right, so we go Simons, McCollum, Mello. Plug in Tatum. It's a given. And then my 5th guy in there is James Johnson.
James Johnson. All right. Yeah, I'm fine with that. I'd be very tempted to try to get Donnie Mitchell into my lineup. I'd be all right.
You like him that much?
Yeah, I do. He's 6,900. I mean,
yeah, but like, how often? I feel like I'd rather be able to play like. Can I play? Let's see. Can I play Ibaka, Luka, and I'd rather play like Ibaka, Luka, and like can I play Beasley?
Okay, I'm fine with that.
Like I'd rather play like Ibaka, Luka, and Juancho or something like that than have to. Actually, you can play if you plug in Luka and Juancho, you can play like Ibaka or Donovan Mitchell. Your choice there, but I still think I'd rather go Ibaka over Donovan Mitchell.
I think that's fine.
Yeah.
But definitely McCollum, Simons, I guess Mello, Tatum. I think Jalen Brown's in that conversation. I think Donnie Mitchell, DeMar DeRozan. All right. Let's see if there's any questions up to this point. See if any lineups come out, do the dirty. YouTube Nation, if you are out there listening, give us a like. I'll let the like button. Shit, that shit.
You playing any Ish Smith?
Ish Smith? Not much. So, wow, you don't like nobody so far. Wanamaker, not for me. I just think there's better stuff out there. AD seems like a lock versus Memphis. Someone said in the comments, Lakers game canceled.
They rescheduled Clippers and Lakers game to like April 4th or something like that. That's probably what they were saying.
Oh, okay. I don't think tonight's game's canceled, but
yeah, they canceled the game after Kobe died. They rescheduled, but not tonight.
Okay, all right. Yeah, Frank Nitty ain't gonna do nothing. I agree. LeBron or Luka from Smashing?
Luka.
Yeah, I'd say Luka as well.
How do you how do you decide between AD and LeBron for you? That's what I always have the most difficult times for.
So, I mean, I think like AD's got the higher upside, but playing with LeBron, he very rarely does take all that usage. LeBron really has to triple double and shoot very well to get 65 plus. He's done it, he certainly could do it, but I like when one of them's out and only one's available. But if I had to choose today, I think I'd roll with AD. But
Because it's cheaper too, right?
yeah, he's cheaper, and if I'm going up to LeBron's prices, I'm just going to Luka at this point. We go into the WiseTake chat. I was supposed to go in there first, but I wasn't prepared. Just a sec.
Any lone guys you're going super over the field on?
I'll answer that in 1 second. Yeah, nothing in the WiseTake chat. Perfect. Low owned guys that I'm going overweight on. I mean, I think Luka Doncic, I'll be like around 40% on, where it sounds like the field's going to be closer to 15. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, I got my eye on. I really like the price of 6'4", with Jamal Murray, D, and guys like that. D'Angelo Russell's only projecting for like 10%. And I really like him
too.
Gordon Hayward's got a very low ownership projection. I'll be over on him.
Which one of the four, or rank in order of the Celtics guys you'd rather be under the field on between like Hayward, Brown, Tatum, and Smart? Who would you rather be under the field on? Like, so for me, my opinion is I'd rather be most under the field on Smart, under the field on Brown, and then I want to get like a lot of Tatum and Hayward. Who do you like the most and least out of them? Like, who would you rather go over under with?
I would agree with everything you said. I would just swap Smart and Brown because it looks like Jaylen Brown's going to be like 30%, while Smart will probably come in around 10. And I know it's less likely for Smart to put up those big games, but the ownership would probably make me more interested. I don't he's projected to be 10% owned. I don't really see how much under you can get on him. I think you should have a little bit, just judging how much we both like that game. So I guess Jaylen Brown would be the one I'd want to be under the most, and I'd try to get over on Tatum and Hayward, like you said. And I'd probably get over on Cantor. What's he projecting for? It's got to be minuscule.
Low.
Low. Like Cantor today.
You said projected what?
Our projections really like Cantor today.
Like a guy like Cantor, I feel like every projection system is gonna like because he's so cheap and has he's been a permanent monster. But I don't think there's a lot of routes to him getting 30 plus like Simons can, or I feel like it's a lot likely for him to get 25 to 30, which is what you want from him at 3.7. Then for Beasley, Juancho, James Johnson to go for 30 between any of them. So I think he's gonna grade out good, of course, any projection system because his baseline is at least 5 or 6x. But I think that's appropriate where he should be projected for 23 fantasy points or so, and that's kind of fair. He has more of a give or take there.
Okay. Yeah,
You know what I mean?
He's risky. Something's got to go your way. Either he gets in and gets hot and they just don't take him off where they usually do, or Diaz gets in a lot of foul trouble, which he did last game. But I agree. More than likely, it seems like they don't like playing him. They don't really want to give him a ton of minutes. And, you've been fine outside of maybe 2 slates all season just not playing him. So,
yeah.
I don't strongly disagree with you. He's just a guy on a shorthanded team in a really good spot that if he did get minutes would certainly do well, because even in 15 minutes, he might make value today.
He can go for 30 in 15 minutes any day.
Yeah. Most of his points are, off offensive rebounds. So he's scoring at 3.5 points a clip. If he gets 5 of those, you're already at 20, so he doesn't have to do much more than that. If there's any more questions. Is James Enos a play at 3K since he's starting?
No. Let me cut you off. No.
You know, he's taking the West Alundo role. Like, wasn't a very high usage role anyway. You know, 2% out of 100 lineups or more, like, sure. But yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm not that into it. Anybody from Orlando interest you? Getting paced up a little by Dallas. You know, just been pretty decent all year.
Vooch and Aaron Gordon, because Aaron Gordon's coming in super low and because he's more expensive than we're used to paying for him.
Yeah, he's been playing well though, Aaron Gordon.
Yeah, but I don't mind paying that 7K price tag if he's going to continue to put up like 45 to 50 points or so. So I don't love him, of course, but like if he's going to be 2% owned, then I'll have 5% owned or so.
Yep. Pull up and FanDuel.
Dunk contest snub, by the way. So maybe a little narrative.
What did you say?
Dunk contest snub when he should have won.
Oh yeah. Dunk contest snub narrative. But possible, you know, maybe he's got his like angry, although, you know, whatever. It was
He's gonna come do a 360 during the game now.
Yeah. We got a FanDuel question. Favorite center on FanDuel? No price, just favorite play at center.
Favorite center on Fan. Let me pull up FanDuel. I know I liked. We were talking about it earlier in the WiseTake chat. Actually, Steven Adams was popping for me earlier, but let me see who else I like for center. Center, yeah, Steven Adams I like a lot too, even though he's more expensive on FanDuel. Whiteside is a little bit cheaper. Rudy Gobert, and that's kind of really it.
For me, it's Gobert or like, you know, if you want to take some risks, Joe Val. Like they only played him 20 minutes yesterday. You know, they kind of fell far behind.
Why does no team ever play more than fucking 20 minutes, 25 minutes a game?
I don't know, but it's possible they were looking ahead to tonight's game against the Lakers and knew they were going to need him, so they kind of kept him fresh. And if that's the case where he's going to get a ceiling in minutes, you know, when Joe Val gets minutes, he produces. You know, he's won a couple slates this year with a 60 burger at low ownership. So I'd say Rudy Gobert, if you're willing to take some risks, Joe Val, or, you know, I think Mo Wagner's kind of interesting too at 4K over there. See what else we got. So this is like the guy who asked the question about James Enos. So I guess he's looking for a min price play. He says, or maybe Saric. Would you have any interest in Saric?
No, he needs bare like min price.
Yeah. I mean, he's asked the question on 2-3K guys.
Oh man, that's rebuild the roster then. Like,
yeah, I agree.
Rebuild the lineup. Like Frankie Lakinas 3-1. Like,
yeah.
But in tournaments you can't play him. Like, does he really have big upside? No. Like, even honestly like today too, it's not even like you want to get up to like those huge like top end guys. Like, there's so many mid tier guys that are fine to have upside. Like, I would look around your roster construction, try to reconstruct there.
I'm with you. You know, there's probably, you know, something you could pivot. You know what I mean? To just get a better cheap player like 3.5 for Simons, 3.3 for DSJ. You know what I mean? All right. So moving along, let's talk about favorite game stacks and why. What would be your favorite game to stack?
Boston, Minnesota, easily.
Okay, and let's talk
the prices, the pace, missing players, no Kemba, no Cat. I think it's pretty obvious.
Okay. So first of all, when we say game stack, like how many players do you need in a lineup to consider it a game stack?
So first of all, I always disclose too, and like I've always said this, I am not a stacking guy in NBA. Well, people think like to each their own, and like I see the merit behind it to really correlated players in the NBA. Like, I am not the biggest like believer in how correlated a lineup needs to be in NBA. I think you need to more so exclude players from being together than include others. Like we said earlier, like I don't think I would play like say for example Trent and Simons together, but I don't think you need to say like if I'm playing like 3 Portland guys because no Lillard, I need to play 2 Pelicans guys. Like Pelicans are all fair price because they're all healthy now. Like Ingram's cheap, but like there's some pretty fair price. Like you can get away with others, but like I don't think you need to force a game stack just because you're running so many guys from one side. But Boston, Minnesota really stands out just because their price tags, the upside they all have within them, and both Kemba and OCat. So you easily can go like 3 from Boston, 2 from Boston, like Tatum, Brown, Smart, Hayward, any of those two. Tatum and Hayward, my favorite. Running back with 3, like Beasley, Hernan Gomez, D'Lo, and James Johnson all really stand out for me. So I don't mind going like Tatum, Hayward, and then the 4 Minnesota guys. If you want to do that too. I
So
think that game goes over the 216 total too.
Anywhere from 4 to 8 players, 4 to 7 players from that game, you'd be all right with, right?
4 to 7's fine, yeah.
Same here. And I agree. Like, I think that's one where like both sides are just as appealing as the other, and like, you know, I'd be fine with a 5-2, a 4-3, a 3-3, you know, any different combinations from that game. What about next? What would be like your next favorite game to look at stacking?
Oh man. It's between like Cleveland, Washington and Pelicans, Portland.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, kind of naturally Portland because they're popping so much in my projections, and I'm sure I'll get a ton of them. And then there's Ingram, and like maybe at that point, if I want to do force a game stack, you can force in like Zion or Drew, or I won't even say favors, but favors maybe. Cleveland, Washington, like it's 2 shitty teams playing against each other that both play no defense and fast pace. So we're looking at like a 236 total with like cheap price tags on both sides outside of like Beal, but Beal can always go for like 55 plus here. And from the Cleveland side, like I get there's like Drummond and Love playing, but you can also grab guys who are super cheap, like Sexton and Kevin Porter from the value side, who both have bigger upside at really low ownership too.
All right. Cool. All right, I gotta chop some lineups. Talk to me about Phoenix, Toronto. Who do you like from both sides? Would you stack that up? Would you favor one side or the other?
Yeah, definitely the Toronto side over Phoenix, but there's not like anyone who really stands out. Of course, it's like Ibaka and no Gasol. I said I like Ayton a lot earlier because in competitive games where you can play like 34 plus minutes, 35 plus minutes, he has smashed. So like I wouldn't be surprised if he goes like 50 here. And Whiteside's coming in like almost triple his ownership, so I think it's a great pivot off Whiteside. And like if you want to do, if you're gonna game stack like Portland Pelicans, or if you're just playing a lot of Pelicans in your lineup, I mean a lot of Portland in your lineup, you could just take that like 4th Portland guy being like McCollum, Simons, and then like say you're playing McCollum, Simons, Melo, and you want to play Lillard as and Whiteside as a 4th Portland guy, you could just pivot over to Ayton at like similar price tag, who has like just as much upside, maybe not the same floor, but he has big upside too. So I like Ayton a lot, and like Lowry and Ibaka on the other side.
Yeah, Lowry's been playing awesome. What about Siaks?
Oh, like he's fine, he's still cheap, but I think it's tough for me because like Tatum is so much cheaper. I think Tatum has a lot higher ceiling and a lot higher floor, so Siakam's fine, but it's hard for me to want to play him over like a guy like Tatum, even if Tatum is super chalky.
Yeah, I agree. Price tag's a little high, and the consistency hasn't been there. It's been like, you know, one game it was OG, Lowry's been like the most consistent, but like Fred VanVleet can pop for 40 plus. Just you're not exactly sure where the production's going to come from, so it's hard to spend that price tag on.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about exposures. Who do you think are going to be like your top 5 highest exposed guys tonight?
I'm about to crunch. I can tell you right now, but I'm assuming. Hold on, give me 1 minute to answer that.
Right.
Yeah, give me 1 minute here.
Sure.
Before I go on to that question, you planning any Porzingis at all?
Probably don't end up with any. 8K is decent price, but with Luka back, I don't. The times that he's going to go for like 50 plus, I would want it to be like a much better spot than a slow, good defensive team like Orlando, where I'm going to play Porzingis if Luka's playing. So I'm not interested really.
What about a guy like Vooch on the other side of that?
He's fine. His price tag's a little high. He doesn't really go for like 50 pluses all that often. He feels more like a solid cash play than like a super ceiling guy at 8.8. If he was like 7.8, I could be very interested. But 8.8, it's like he just doesn't go for like 55 plus all that often. You know what I mean?
That's fair. Yeah, I agree.
Him, Sabonis, Drummond, like Chris Stapps. You've got a couple of them that are like, even Whiteside just feels a little too expensive, and most of the upside has been taken out of there by their price tag. So I'm not too into the high end there of the centers and power forwards.
Naz Reid will start ahead of James Johnson today. It's funny. I was just about to read you my top 5 most exposed players, and James Johnson was number 2 there.
I mean, I
Number
think
1, unfortunately, was TJ McCollum, but
yeah.
I guess I'm gonna press the lock button on him and not regret it.
Yeah, I mean, if they get blown out, which is possible, like sure, maybe they pull them early, give up the game. But what are you thinking about? I mean, I love Naz Reid. 4,500 is not the best price. Smash spot against Boston. Getting the start, that's kind of interesting. What do you think's going on there?
FanDuel is cheaper. I mean, I still can't see him playing a ton of minutes. Like, I don't think he's gonna play like 30 plus minutes now or like 26 plus minutes. Like, if he can play 25, like sure he can get to like 26 fantasy points or so, but he's still like 4 or 5 in DK. Like I'll have some of him, but like it's still gonna lower my James Johnson exposure, but I'll still have more James Johnson than Naz Reid, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it makes me just lower on both. I mean, makes me, I guess, slightly higher on Naz Reid, but I was rate probably higher than the field on him. And
like, what do you do at Naz Reid now?
I mean, I think you got to play him at like a 30% exposure, right? Because he's such a point per minute beast, and you're moving him into.
Isn't he only like around like a 1 or so? No, he is. Oh no, he's a little more over 1. Yeah, he's over 1.
Yeah, and it's like the sample's not very accurate because a lot of it's like blowout time or when the games don't matter. But when he's like, the few games where he's like started and been like focal in the offense, he's been significant per minute. He's a beast.
I'm just. Do you think everybody's pivoting to him right now too?
I mean,
the crazy thing is like he's almost the same price as James Johnson now, and like who are you projecting higher now? Because like if him and James Johnson the same price tag, you almost have to like just ride with whoever. I guess ride against the field too, but also ride who you think projects higher. And like, would you play them together?
who?
James Johnson and Naz Reid now.
Probably not. You know what I mean? Like, you could, but it's like unlikely that they're both getting like 7Xs. I don't think. You know what I mean? I think one versus the other is more optimal.
Yeah, I agree there.
Right. All right, we got about 30 minutes to lock. I need to get a crunch in just in case Cruncher decides to pull some F shit like yesterday. So I just want to get like one that I'm all right with if that's what I get stuck with kind of situation, because that shit sucked yesterday.
How many lineups you riding with tonight?
I have 54.
54. Ooh, that's a lot for you, isn't it?
No, I've been doing MMA basically every day since NBA started, and
okay.
I usually play like between 50 and 100. If I can max or like the contest selection is better, then I will. But I'm usually in a combination of like the $4 and $2, and I usually max the $4 first, and then whatever I got left, I'll put into the $2. So I usually end up with like 60 to 80 teams.
That's fair. That's fair.
So my first crunch, I got C.J. McCollum, Jason Tatum, Luka Doncic, D'Angelo Russell, Juancho Hernan-Gomez, Dennis Smith Jr., Naz Reid, Donnie Mitchell, Kyle Lowry, Serge Ibaka, Gary Trent, Jaylen Brown as like my top 10 or 12. I'm actually all right with that.
Are there any significant build rules you think people should be using today? Like again, I think we should know Simons and Trent, but even that, I think you can get away with playing both of them.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think of some.
Like Naz Reid and James Johnson, maybe, but anything else that like you super like don't play these guys together, like between like I don't know.
Yeah, between guys that are going to be popular, right? Like
I don't think I want any LeBron and AD lineups together. Of course, well, not of course, but I don't want that.
I agree. I don't like them together. Even if like Memphis does keep that game close, I doubt like both of them go high enough to be like worth it at their prices. Are
you limiting the amount of Portland guys in one lineup?
No, I mean I'm okay with even up to like 4 Portland guys in one lineup.
Okay. Do you bet at all? Any bets you like at all?
I don't, because it's not legal in Florida yet, and I just can't stand like, how long it takes to get paid with the overseas sites.
Yeah, it's a bunch of bullshit.
Does Vegas Insider not exist anymore? Oh my God, it's now sportsbet.com.
Let me ask you, Pelicans, Blazers. Pelicans minus 5.5. Any side of that you like?
I would go with the Blazers getting the points.
Yeah.
Let me take a look at the rest of these though. I like the over in the Phoenix game. I like the under in the Lakers game.
I think we said both like the over for which game was it?
That's the Minnesota.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I like the over in the San Antonio Spurs game. All right, looks like we got a question in the Wise stream chat. What are you guys doing with Andre Drummond from CK the GOAT?
I don't have any right now. What do you do with him?
Me neither. Yeah, I didn't like what I saw last game with like, how much they played. Both what's his name, the power forward, and
Kevin Love.
not Kevin Love.
Larry Nance.
Larry Nance. Kevin Love was ruled out, and Drummond still didn't get there. And even Tristan Thompson got like quite a few minutes. Like I'm just not really going to Drummond. I'm gonna take a wait and see approach on Drummond.
This
like
is the matchup though. If he does like hit the nuts and play like 35 minutes, he can go for, of course, like 50 plus. But
yeah, he certainly
to
could.
me, at 9K, I much rather like play. I much rather like load the ownership into a little more Luka or a little less for like the Tatum and that tier.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like, yes, he could, but like I don't think this is the same like role as he had in Detroit. And like, I think Cleveland, like, Love's going to take a lot of usage. The guards, like, I don't know. I'm going to wait to see Drummond do it and have him like force me into playing him before I kind of get high on him. Like, I don't mind if I get like.
His player prop is super low too.
His what?
Player prop, because his points, rebounds, and assists are only at 34.
Yeah. Yep. So I'm not really in on Drummond, but if he goes for 60 and breaks the slate tonight, like I wouldn't be surprised. But I'm gonna make him kind of beat me once, and then I'll consider getting on board. But I just, this is a different role, different team. They got a new coach today. Like you kind of just, a blind man in an orgy at that point. You're gonna have to feel your way out.
I like that one.
That's from like Naked Gun movie or something.
Tatum's prop is interesting. 35.5 points, rebounds, and assists. A lot of juice on the over, but I'm taking it over there.
Yeah, I mean, I think Tatum may go for like 60 DraftKings points today. So
yeah,
I'm with that. Utility at 4.5K or less. That's not Trent on DraftKings. I like those kind of questions.
4.5 or less. There's Nas Reed sitting there. Ariza is fine. One of those two, Nas Reed or Ariza.
Yeah, Nas Reed for sure for me. Trevor Ariza is actually interesting. Like with everyone just like running to Carmelo, like I think Trevor Ariza is a fine pivot off of Melo, and a guy that like for a team that's going to be chalky, he's probably not going to be. What do you think about that?
No, I definitely agree. I like Ariza a lot today.
Right? Like, I mean, the minutes will be super solid no matter what.
Yeah.
What do we got him projected for?
I want to go down to some low guys. I want to hear over under, like maybe not even over under, maybe like not play because they're so owned.
Okay.
We hit on him before. I think we're both playing him. Jordan Clarkson, about 3% owned.
Yeah, I'll be over.
Me too. I have, I think, roughly 6% now. Aaron Gordon, we mentioned him at 7K, 2% owned.
I mean, I think I'd be over that, but not by much. Like I think it's worth a play, but I wouldn't have much more than like 5%.
Jonas Valanciunas, 1%.
Definitely play.
Agreed there. A little higher owned, but Jokic at 10%.
Play, but no more than that. You know what I mean? Like, sure, Jokic can go for 70 any day.
That's fair.
It's rare, and like the healthier they are, the much more unlikely it is. Like, if you put a gun to my head, I would actually say don't play him. If I had to choose, but I think you could safely get 5% or so and be totally fine.
Yeah, I love like the 7 to 8K range. So like for me, like the whole top tier outside of like Luka, I'm not really getting to a lot of.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. Aldridge, 5%.
Play him for sure.
A guy I'm curious to your thoughts about because I want to play him a lot myself. Colin Sexton, 2%.
Definitely play him. I mean, he doesn't go for more than 40 all that often, but he certainly takes enough of the shots to get there. So, like, when you do catch one of his the right side of variance kind of days, like he's going to pay off. And even if he just gets to like that 38 to 40 range, like he's a healthy play. It's just, I wish he contributed to other stats a little bit more so that like, he had like he had the chance to get to 50, but like, I don't think the way that he plays right now, he'll have very many 50s. You know what I mean? It's mostly going to be like the 35 to 40 point outputs as a ceiling.
What are you doing with 20% owned Joe Ingles?
I think you play around that percentage of him, unfortunately. Like, he's a nice value play in a sea of plenty of nice value plays. So, like, he doesn't really stand out above the rest to me all that much.
Yeah, I'm on board there. Let's see. Steven Adams, 6%.
I think the slate's deep. He's like an okay play, but another guy that just doesn't ceiling out all that often. So it's hard for me to really want to play a ton of him.
Are you pressing the lock button on CJ McCollum?
Yes.
What's crazy is like I boosted Luka's projection a lot, and I even like bumped down a lot of like AD LeBron's projection to get more Luka, and I'm still only getting like 24% of him.
Yeah, you gotta really jack it up.
Because I love like I'm getting a shit ton of like Hayward, Tatum, McCollum, Ingram, DeMar DeRozan. What the fuck?
Well, I mean, that's part of your problem is like a lot of those guys are at the same position, guard.
Yeah.
You can only get so many guards. You know what I mean? So like, it's just gonna be hard. I'm kind of I'm like forcing less Jaylen Brown to get more Luka.
What do you do with the guard situation in OKC? Schroeder, Chris Paul, you playing any of them?
I really like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander at his price. And like whenever they're in a close game, this one should be like, I think the rest of the way, everyone's got like 30 games or so left. All the teams in the playoff hunt, fighting for seeding, like especially two good West Coast teams like that are like likely going to play very competitive games, like super high scoring fourth quarters as they go back and forth trying to win. So like those games interest me. Chris Paul's just shown tremendous upside with like, how involved he is in when they score, whether it's him scoring himself or being the assisting guy on their scoring. And he's got the triple-double upside. So, like, I think he's always the answer. But I do really like Shai Gilgeous' price today. So he'd be my favorite from that spot. But I think you can kind of always answer Chris Paul there as well.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, man. I'm getting so much of those Portland guys. I don't think I hate it either, though. What do you think of what I said before? If CJ's coming out at like 60% owned, would you go like 70% on him? Do you think it's worth it?
Yeah. I think you can go,
But I mean, like, would you, like, my opinion is you either go the lock button on him or you go like half the field, like 30%. Do you think it's worth it going anywhere between like 70, 80% on him?
I mean, like, there are paths to him busting, right? They could just get smoked, blown out. They kind of got blown out last time they saw this team. Where he doesn't even play in the fourth quarter because they're down by 30. It's doubtful, right? Like, I think this game's close. Both these teams want to win. And in that case, I just don't see him, not doing well. I mean, we have such a huge sample size of him on the court without Dame, and it's just been so consistent. And the price is just so juicy at 6.6.
Yeah, get that. All right,
It's hard.
Uploading this crunch, calling it a day here. Let's see. Anything I don't love here?
Yeah, 18 minutes to lock. see if we get a couple lineups in that we can kind of analyze as well.
Similar to question that I just asked, but like, if you're playing a 5,000 entry single entry tournament,
Okay.
do you think it's worth playing? Like, do you think you say like, I'm gonna ride the field and be like, McCollum's so worth I'm playing him, or it's like I want to go for the top and I'm gonna fade McCollum here?
I think it's very likely McCollum's in the winning lineup tonight.
I agree. I think it's a big risk tolerance thing too, but I think I would still play him. I think he's worth it.
So, like, I think like what you do in those cases, like, you grab like a smaller dollar kind of tournament, like the 25-cent 20 entry max, and fade him completely there. Build 20 lineups, crunch him out with fading him completely, and like you kind of get overweight on the Gary Trents and Anthony Simons, is because someone's going to do really well from Portland, right? If it's not McCollum, then they're getting blown the fuck out, and Trent and Anthony are getting just significantly more minutes than projected for, and doing well because of the pace and the lack of defense from New Orleans. So, like, I think you
I
could
like
do
that a
something.
lot too.
You know
That's
what I
actually
mean?
a really smart idea.
Because, like, when you're right about that, fading the chalkiest play on the slate, like,
At
you
least
want
you
to
get put back there.
So you got to have a bunch of builds. So you can't just have like two teams where you faded them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I actually kind of like that's a good idea, like hedging yourself in the lower dollar contest, because like if you hedge there, like at least you're gonna probably not bink, but like do well there at least.
Yeah. And it's like it takes away like that question, like how much do I get in? You just in your main stuff, you get over the field because he's an optimal play, and the NBA is very predictable, and you just grab something where you're like lighting the money on fire before you like join, and just like if things go wrong with your main stuff, you have some hedge stuff out there that, like, when you bank that stuff, it's awesome. You know what I mean? I think that's the way you approach that.
Yeah, I feel that. Baseball is pretty much back tomorrow. Spring training, opening day, pretty much. We had the one game between the Royals and Rangers tonight, but we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Fucking teaching you guys how to count here tonight in the Y stream. 12 games tomorrow for spring training, starting at 1 o'clock. Last year we actually killed it for spring training in like the Slack chat. If you're not in there, do yourself a favor and get in there. We made a lot of money there. We had a few people getting their first commas, get their first $1,000 plus wins. So it's always nice to see that. If you're not with us already, get in the Wise stream, WiseTake Slack chat, and make some money for spring training too.
Stevie dropping plugs, bro. Nice. Plug it in. Do it. Do that. All right. 14 minutes to lock. Do you have the YouTube up? Can you see if there's any questions?
I don't, but I can pull it up.
Yeah, pull that up because I
got
to crunch some shit.
I have the worst fucking headache right now too. Being sick is not fun, man. Definitely not fun.
Yeah, you don't look like you're having any fun.
No. Let's see. Questions. Any Vooch love? J-Town, Washington. Any Vooch love?
Not much for me.
Tall the God. Is Nas a good cash play on DK?
I think now that he's starting, yes.
Smashing. Ibaka or Ingram?
Ibaka? That's a tough question. Like
that is a very tough question. I like that one a lot.
Yeah. I'm gonna say Ibaka. Like, I just think there's like too many mouths to feed in New Orleans, and like, we can't really look at what Ingram did earlier this year and expect those same results with Drew Holiday back healthy and Zion's minutes like no longer capped. So I'm going to say Surge.
Not a question, but from Priceless fame, no Mitchell Robinson for the counterplay to all the other 4K plays.
Yeah, I mean, you can always play Mitch Robinson. He certainly looked better of late, after kind of having a slow start to the year. The blocks are back up. No Marcus Morris, so usage is there. No Elf. You can certainly take shots on him, but there's no that's just a dart. There's no that's a great play. You know what I mean? Even if it works out, you just kind of got lucky that you're on the right side of variance. But you can always play Mitch Robinson under 5K because, he's shown that he's got upside for a lot more.
Marco, oh man, I'm not gonna pronounce your last name, my man. I'm sorry, I'm gonna slaughter that, but let's do that 30, Paulie D and Stevie. Hell yeah, man, let's get it tonight. Same guy, Thomas Bryant, strong play.
Let's dive into Thomas Bryant a little bit. I don't know what to do with Thomas Bryant. Is he confirmed in? Let's start there.
He's confirmed in, and he got confirmed with Rui or Mo Wagner, whichever one of them, a little bit ago.
Okay. We do have their starting lineup. He's not in it. Their starting lineup is Ish, Brad Beal, Bonga, Hachimura, Mahimi. They were very cautious with him coming back from injury, and then he, kind of re-aggravated it. I would not expect enough minutes for him to be an optimal play. I think I'd actually look at Hachimura or Wagner over him today.
Aaron Rad something. James Johnson still cash play with Nas starting.
I think so, but if I had to choose, I'd go with the starter. And, it certainly makes James Johnson, slightly riskier, at least at these prices. But I think they're both still fine. But if I had to choose, I'd probably go with Nasri starting.
I agree. I still have a lot of interest in James Johnson tournaments, but I think the cash play is now Nas Reed. When he's locked into 22 to 25 minutes, he's always been a per minute monster. So 1.15 per minute fantasy points per minute, 27% usage on the court, no cat. I think it's enough to warrant the cash play over James Johnson when he's locked into the start. Mr. OG DFS, Clarkson or Beasley, DK?
Beasley.
Beasley definitely grades out better, but I like Clarkson a lot for tournaments too, for low end play. Marco Cleveland, Terrence Davis, question mark.
He's fine. With Ibaka back, Fred VanVleet, I just, his price is caught up a tad. He's just all right. I think there's much more higher upside value plays out there today that are just more appealing to me. But he's been good, especially lately. So I got no complaints if you want to play some of him.
Yeah, for me, I'm not playing him at all. No Powell. I get that he becomes a kind of consideration a little bit, but I still don't think he has the upside playing with such high usage guys. There's a ton of them on that team, like VanVleet, Siakam, Lowry. I can go down the list. Whereas the other guys go a bit higher than him, like James Johnson, Nas Reed, Hunter Gomez, Malik Beasley, Anthony Simons, all those guys that get a huge boost because of their scenarios there, while Terrence Davis is just kind of been on the hot streak lately before a couple games before the All-Star break, but I don't think he still has a 35-point upside in him.
Agreed.
Nick Marchigione. Sorry if I slaughtered that one too. Colin Sexton today. I said I like Sexton a lot, but Paulie, what's your thoughts on him?
I'm just man, Drummond there is, definitely going to take away from him a little bit. And just very scoring dependent. And his price is kind of towards the high side of his range. So he's just all right to me, mostly matchup based why I like him. But, Are you playing more of him than C.J. McCollum, Donovan
No.
Mitchell, DeMar DeRozan? There's a lot of guys in that range. Jaylen Brown. It's just hard for me to really get behind. Like,
It's a good, fair point.
a lot of him.
Aaron Radigan, our boy, 4.9K and below DK cash and utility spot. I'm
4.9.
saying Juancho Hernangomez. If you want to drop a little bit below and try to get like a different 2v2, there's Nas Reed over there too. But I think Juancho at 4.7 fits that pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, I really like Juancho, but let me see. What was it? 4.9 and below?
4.9 and below DK.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you could do Joe Ingles as well. You know, I don't like leaving any more money than that on the table, but our consensus answer is Juancho for sure.
Marco Cleveland, Michael Porter, or Nas Reed, power forward value. Pick one.
Nas Reed. You know,
Nas Reed.
I'd love to get some more Michael Porter, but you know, first of all, like, what's his name is back, going to be on the second unit with him.
Everybody.
Yeah, I mean everybody's back, but the main power forward dude used to be on Atlanta.
Millsap, you're talking about, right?
Yeah, with Paul Millsap back, like I don't think Porter will have like. I don't think they rush him out and play enough minutes for him to be really worth it today.
Which is a bad idea because I think he's better than Millsap now. But
I agree. I think he's going to be awesome, and you know, especially for fantasy. But you know, he hasn't played in a while, so I'd be shocked if he gave him a lot of minutes. There's no need to because they're back all healthy. You know, Millsap's going to take away usage, so it's not going to be the same as what we've seen. And Plumlee's back, so like the rebound upside is going to be down as well. So too many negative boxes there.
Question in the Wisestream chat from Ranimal. Again, apologies to my boy Gov. Couldn't pronounce your last name, but you know I love you, my man. Ranimal, Ingram, or Hayward?
Ingram or Hayward? I say Hayward for sure.
Hayward, definitely Hayward for me. Oh, Ranimal earlier, utility of 4.5 or less. That's not Trent. Oh, you answered that before, right?
Yeah, that's Nas Reed.
Hopping back over to YouTube, we got, is Barrett going to be a good play today from Daniel D?
I do like that Barrett. You know, I mean, you know, he looked great in that USA World game, and you know, the Knicks have shown they're willing to play him big minutes. And I think with like the All-Star break being done, like they're going to, you know, I think he'll play 34 minutes or more today. High usage. Yeah. You know, I think he's going to play like, you know, it's hard when you make the transition from college to NBA, especially him who only played 1 year of college. And like, you know, I think he's shown enough signs that he's going to be good, can handle this level, but there's a lot of growing pains. And I think a lot of young guys like have better second halves than first as they kind of like figure things out and get more comfortable. And with no Elf, you know, I think he'll play some point, and I think he'll be aggressive today.
Let's see if we got any more questions. None in the Y stream. YouTube chat, we do not right now. Oh, Marco back in there. Barrow or Oladipo, FanDuel. Oof. What do you think, Paulie?
What's their prices?
So on FanDuel, Barrett is, let me see. I know Oladipo is actually kind of appealing, but hold up. Why isn't it slow? Barrett's 4.3, which I think does make him in play there. Oladipo is also right around there. He's 4.6.
I mean, I'm a huge Oladipo fan, but like this is a different team. TJ Warren, Malcolm Brogdon, like, you know,
Sabonis.
And Sabonis emerging, you know, being like the star that he is. Like, I don't know if we're going to see Oladipo like have the same like massive usage games like we saw last year. And I'm hesitant to really kind of play him until I see that.
I think I'd still say Oladipo over RJ Barrett, but pretty close in comparison.
Mm-hmm.
No questions in the Wise stream. No questions in YouTube. We're about 3 minutes out. Any final thoughts for the slate here?
It's crazy. I was expecting like a hectic rush into lock, but it's been calm.
I definitely have my shit uploaded, right? Yeah, I do.
Yeah. I was wondering the same. I don't know. I don't really have anything that like, some dime to drop on the crowd before we dip on out.
What do you got going on for the weekend, Paulie? Anything exciting?
I don't really know yet. I'm just glad it's here. It's been a long week. I can't believe we just got like no news this entire
Don't
show.
speak so soon. If we get late news now, I'm blaming it on you.
What'd you do?
Yeah. 2 minutes till lock. My lineups are in. I am oh man, I'm riding the chalk tonight. A lot of CJ, a lot of Simons, which I don't know if I love having that much Simons, but a lot of Tatum, Beasley, Hayward, Mello, Ibaka, Naz Reid, Wancho. Oh God, that doesn't sound too fun. I actually think I might change my single entry lineup in the last minute if I can get in. We're 1 minute from lock. I'm sitting here rushing, trying to get my single entry lineup in. Let's see if I can do that. Luca, CJ, Hayward. It's the chalkiest lineup you can find. Wancho, Nas Reed, Anthony Simons.
All right, nation. Looks like that's going to do it. Good luck. Have a good weekend. Do thy dirty to thy neighbor. And hope someone smashes. Hit up the Slack. Hit up Twitch machine. Drop some dirties. Hit the like button on the way out. For Stevie Brown. For the nation. We out.
Good luck, nation.